Yo, what up? It's Aaron Moses, and this is the first episode of the BaeCast. Now, I have my the most beautiful woman in the world, with the exception of Dawn Cynthia Thompson, also known as Mama Moses. Hey, also known as Mama, my mom. And we're gonna be on here discussing something very important: being held accountable, financial health, accountability, economics. Hey, what up, gang?
Hey, the other one was so
Yeah,
complicated. It
I
was
know, man.
so. I came inside because I was like, is it my reception? And it just like every time that I would choose the adding, it
Mm.
would take it away when I would refresh.
So you came inside and
Yeah, let me.
mm, we have a lot in common.
What?
So we have a lot in common. So what's popping with you? What's up? What's going on with you, baby? How you feel?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Just it was a little frustrating the whole trying to get in.
A lot of
Um,
frustrating, to be honest.
what? It was
I
really
said a lot of
frustrating.
frustrating. Yes, baby. It was.
Dude, you were ranting for a while though. You were ranting, and I was like, let me in. What the fuck?
It's because I'm an exceptional podcaster, baby. I was doing my job. I was
She did
trying
from
to
this.
entertain the people and make sure
No,
that.
this doesn't even show me.
Hmm?
Oh, shoot. Okay, there.
No, it shows you. It shows you.
I guess I have to hold it.
I'm just tagging my niggas real quick. So, what are we? You know what we're gonna talk about, right?
You wanted to talk about labor laws, and
Mm.
you wanted to talk about, hold on. You wanted to talk about labor laws, and you wanted to talk about something else.
Actually, I wanted to talk about raising people's standards and not actually making it, not enabling people to live mediocre lives.
Okay, raising people's standards. How do you think that people get influenced or yeah, influenced to want to raise their standards?
Exposure to different lifestyles, to be honest. Either exposure to people's lifestyles other than their own, or being sick and tired of being sick and tired, which is also a combination of having a creative mind. Those three things, I think, is what makes people change their lives, economically. What's up, Rodzilla 666? This is a very important topic. Make sure you tune in and tag anybody who wants to be involved. So, what do you think does that, has those effects?
What I think, okay, so you know how there's that old saying, I'm just gonna keep it super simple. That old saying, you get more bees with honey than with vinegar. I think sometimes I think that's very much, especially when it comes to certain situations, I think it galvanized people to be like, hey, or even just being an example of like being a little bit more open to people. That will galvanize people to be like, hey, this person's really nice and they're living really great. I want to live like that. I want to be really happy. That's one side. Some people need it a little harder, but depends what you're talking about, which specific subject.
The specific subject is now, just to give everybody a understanding of where I come from. Just because I might sound like I'm not for the people when I say a lot of things, because a lot of people come from certain backgrounds, poverty, inner urban communities, and they don't agree that black people need reparations and they're black. And they're the stereotypical black person. I don't agree with what they think on a specific level. But at the end of the day, what I am saying is, my point is, we shouldn't make it comfortable for anyone in this country to complain about being able to do the least and make the least. I don't think we should make mediocrity comfortable for people. I don't think that people should be rewarded for, not necessarily rewarded, but I don't think people should I want people's entitlement to go. You know?
So you're talking about specifically people that are receiving. Oh, look, Jesus says, but people do the most while receiving very little for their labor. I totally agree. Thank you, sis.
Right. My whole point is, it's just like people want to neglect themselves. They don't want to learn. They don't want to grow, but they want to force and bully a motherfucker for paying them more when they're not trying to put in that work and be something that they're not.
Who's not trying to put in that work? Are you talking about
I want
workers?
everybody.
What are you talking
I want
about?
everybody to be comfortable, but I don't think you should. I don't think. I think people should have more pride about themselves. Now, if you work a minimum wage job, that's cool. That's what you want to do, right? But you can't complain when people try to take advantage of you and pay you the least because, nigga, you don't have any fucking skills. You're not in any position to tell somebody who worked their ass off to give you more money because what the why are you okay? It's not even that. Like, I sound like the man right now, right? That's not what I meant. But it's like,
Yes.
why are you okay with having no skills? Why are you okay with not being educated?
Can I say something
Why are
now?
you
Okay.
hold on, because I'm on Windows, you already know. But why are you okay with begging a motherfucker who doesn't give a fuck about you, who doesn't value you? Nigga, your job requires no skills. So if you complain to a certain extent, or you start fucking up, or you want to get rebellious, nigga, it's 16-year-olds that could do your job, bro. You remember that statement I made when I was in the bed when I said you shouldn't
You're
be
talking
making
a lot.
$15 an hour unless you're 15. So you can't complain when you don't have any skills, when you don't have any, you don't have any marketable skills, but you wanna force a motherfucker to pay you more. Why don't you want better for yourself? Why would you take the energy that you have? Why wouldn't you take the beautiful energy? It's mostly, it's mostly,
Okay,
it's mostly
my
my
turn.
people.
My turn. Okay, let me
Hey, I
let me
didn't
say.
even finish because I don't want to look like a
No,
piece of
you're
shit.
talking too long. My turn. Look. So look,
Right,
this is not listen to Aaron. This is like a conversation, right?
right.
So okay,
That's an illogical
there
fallacy.
are
Expound on that,
people.
and you could come
There.
on too, bro. I got add you too.
Okay, there are people.
Uh-huh.
Oh yes, Seuss, if you want to come on, there
For
are
sure.
people that really enjoy simple work.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that really. I was just having a conversation with my friend, which was he's like in his late 40s. He's a military ex person. He did all types of shit for the military before. He lives
Mm-hmm.
out in Kansas now. And I was like, "Oh, what's up? What are you doing for work?" He loves bartending. He loves like doing like practically waiter shit. That's like he loves like the whole talking to people, being like really chill. That is what he loves to do. I asked him like, how come you don't do other things? He's like, no, I'm not trying to overfill my life with all this extra stuff. He's like, I already lived a different kind of life, and now I'm just trying to be like enjoy my time at a bar, work at a bar, work at a restaurant, work in a fancy place, have casual conversations. You know what I mean? There's people that choose their different life paths of what they want to do. But when it comes to your point about why people are not getting educated, because the system has failed them, education itself has been a farce for so long. People have had to fight for better education, have had to fight for student fucking activities, have had to fight for books, have had to fight for everything. So I think saying that it's just like people are begging. That's bullshit. Hey, Roxilla and Suze. Okay, I'm this girl from the hood, and I try to get her out, but she refused to live the legitimacy and made choices to stay the same dysfunctional struggle. We can show people the way, but it's up to them. Yes, that's one case, right? Some people, they don't want the same things, you know what I mean? And it's okay, but it's like there's people that want to get educated but don't have the opportunity. Yeah.
Um, right. So I'm gonna give you a little what's it called, an anecdote. So when I was younger, right, I worked at McDonald's, 17 years old. My dad, the first thing he said was, "Bro, don't make friends, don't get comfortable because a lot of people that work at McDonald's with you, they're going to be felons, people who fucked up in life, people who lost hope, people who aren't qualified as you, even as a 17-year-old. So, socialize accordingly, but don't get caught up um, entertaining these people and being being too friendly, right?" So when I got that message and I actually saw firsthand what was going on, shout out to people who work at McDonald's. I'm not saying that you're a piece of shit or whatever. But when I combined that knowledge with my actual experience, I was thinking like, bro, I understand what people go through to the point where they need this job. I see how hard people work at McDonald's. I see how people, bust their ass at Burger King and all these fucked up ass warehouses, man. Shout out to everybody. But if you feel like that about yourself, if you feel like you need this job but you don't want to strive for better, why would you why would you force somebody to pay you more if you think so little of yourself? If you really have the confidence and the self-esteem to the point where you could ask somebody who doesn't give a fuck about you for more money, why wouldn't you just make a way for yourself? Why wouldn't you take those long nights that you have by yourself, trying to prepare yourself for work, and actually meditate on a way to get out that situation? Why would you
Okay,
take
so
energy to boycott and to protest and to do all those things instead of asking somebody that's racist, that will openly, indirectly, but directly say, I don't give a fuck about
people
your
have different, again, people have different. I think you're thinking about one person, one case at a time, but people have a different ideas of what success is. People like, let's say some people be like, hey, I have a roof over my head, I have food, my children are happy, I get to spend time with them. There's so
Mhm.
many people that are trying to hustle and hustle and hustle, and they don't get to see their kids, and they end up having latchkey kids that don't get any attention. And that it includes people in higher positions and people in poverty.
So with people who have these jobs that I'm speaking of, I don't even want to keep talking about like we're going to segue to understand that these people, a lot of them, not all of them, which is the scariest part, not all of these jobs actually need human beings to work there. A lot.
Now,
Yeah,
now,
and we're gonna. If you want to, all right. Well, if you give me some time, if you give me the liberty.
sorry, go ahead.
Uh, no, I'm asking you. Is it okay if I want? Okay, so
You want
we
me to
have
chime
two
in?
things. We have two things when it comes to business, right? And I really do want Jesus to come on here, but he probably, what do you call it, bonked out?
Sus, are you on here?
He
I don't
probably
think he's
died.
not on here.
But we have two very important aspects to business when we come to this subject. The first thing is called sustainability. What is sustainability, Aaron Moses? Let me put you on some GAME. Sustainability in business is when you are seen as a contributor to society as a business and you're not fucking up the environment. Now, this is for the environment physically, socially, emotionally, culturally, and as well as just in all different ways. You're not making the world a worse place by your business being in function. Okay, that's why people hire humans when they don't fucking need them, because there are laws protecting businesses from lowering their sustainability under a certain point system. That's universal. So let's say if you have a rubber band company, when you make this rubber, you're spilling oil into the water, but you can only spill, let's say, so many gallons into the ocean to maintain your point system of sustainability. Okay, so the big ass companies like Amazon, they have to have so many human beings working for them, not only just to save face, but because it's the goddamn law. Okay, and then second, um,
You're just talking about pollution now, pollution and the usage of humans as tools,
mm-hmm,
as if human life doesn't really matter. If you think about
they
it, human
don't.
life
That's not.
matters. We're the ones that are like on this earth, right? And like
Mm-hmm,
people buy from Amazon,
that was gonna be
people
my
like
next.
work at Amazon, and then you're telling me that they're like dropping some shit in the
I'm
ocean. That
saying
makes
they're
it even
only. That
worse.
was just an example. I don't know if you were listening. What what I was talking about is a concept in business called sustainability. There is a universe, just like with nursing, right? There's universal law.
Sustainability for whom? Let me look that up.
That's a business term. It's a,
Concepts.
it means pretty much you can't you only have so many points where you can negatively affect the environment. That's what sustainability.
Yeah, and that's what we had Captain Planet. No, I'm just kidding. So that's what we have people that fight against, like
That's why
the
we have
like
people like you. Yeah.
destroying the
Because if
earth.
you're
I don't
making
know.
rubber bands and you're fucking up the pollution, no, they made that law where you're only allowed to dump so much pollution in the air. You're only allowed to hurt so many different people's cultures. Just like Chick-fil-A, right? Chick-fil-A is a homophobic company. They don't fucking they don't support gay people, and they are not open on Sundays because they are a Christian based business, and all power to them. That's their motherfucking business. I don't have any stocks in Chick-fil-A, and I can't tell a motherfucker how to run their own shit. You feel me? But culturally, that's a cultural. There.
Footnote.
No, listen, because you're. I just want you to understand the concept.
Okay,
So with Chick-fil-A,
I'm looking it
that's
up.
fucking up their cultural sustainability because they're saying we're not open-minded. We don't fuck with that LGBT. We're Chick-fil-A. We're a Christian company, so that's fucking up their cultural sustainability. That's a business concept. And the next concept that I wanted to, on a psychological level, all businesses have to maintain interpersonal relationships. I mean, interdependent relationships. We need the people to work because not everything could be done with robots. Some things require actual human bodies to do this shit. They can figure it out, or they could do some bogus shit like they do in certain states that you love, where they could save money instead of hiring. For example, they could save money by hiring people from Texas, where somebody could pull up in a McDonald's at in California, where it costs $15 an hour to pay somebody in California to work at Texas. I mean, at McDonald's, but it's a whole time it's a nigga from Texas that they're only paying $8. That's fucking up the sustainability, but they're still appealing to the interdependent relationships that we as human beings need to have, with these corporations.
You know why, right? The reason is because in California we're big on fighting for like for rights of the workers. People become unions. That was the whole big thing that happened with Amazon. I think it was this year with that one dude. He like organized like a group of like Amazon workers from where he was working at to actually get people to get better sustainability for the workers, you know. And also, I wanted to add the three
That's worse
corporate
for
sustain.
California. That's fucked
Okay,
up.
okay, yeah. Let me just add the three pillars of corporate sustainability
Mm-hmm.
are environmental, like to avoid a carbon footprint, quote unquote, to avoid
For
it,
sure.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And costs and benchmarking, social pillars for like the social licensing and stakeholders, so the accountability for them, and the economic pillar that is profitable. So it doesn't seem like workers are a big thing on here because companies are not their main goal is not always is to use people. You know, a lot of times business is like that. So why is it begging for people to fucking fight for their own rights? or fight for their own rights, for their own like livelihood.
Which is the
Not
whole
begging. I
point of
think
the
I
debate.
think it's a petty thing to say, to call people that are fucking like fighting for whether it's unions or whoever's rights. I think it's super petty because you haven't been there. I know that personally that you
Because
didn't
I
want to
haven't
stay
been
at a
there.
job. I know personally you didn't want to stay at one job because they were paying too little. So it's like, or whatever. So in a sense, it's like, why would you think like, oh, I'm going to teach them a lesson? But it doesn't
That's
come
what the
down
fuck
to
I
the
was saying
fucking
too.
management. It doesn't come down to the management. It comes down to the fucking actual company. Like, what are the laws?
It
It
does
gets
come
bigger
down
than
to the
that. It gets,
management because
and it,
they're agreeing to that shit.
yeah, but yeah, they're agreeing to it, but because that's their job, right? They're like the middleman. Really, it comes down to laws, and it comes down to the corporations itself.
So the whole thing, I'm gonna read because I was a little emotional at the beginning. What's up, Tiffany? The whole thing, the point of me telling that anecdote about me working at McDonald's, and again, I hope I didn't offend anybody. I've been having a job ever since I was 15 years old. I applaud anybody who has a fucking job that is shitty. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna keep it funky with you. But at the end of the day, why don't I work certain jobs? Because I mean, I was raised to be. I was crafted to be arrogant because I know that I would rather I would rather starve than beg somebody to pay me something that I know I'm worth, because that's what I come from. Because I'm gonna tell a little bit of my story because I was waking up in the middle of the night, hearing my mom tell my dad that she's not gonna beg my dad for fucking child support. Because I know how brilliant I am. Because I view these little stupid ass jobs as something that I know that's temporary. You know what somebody told me when I was younger? When all of this and RIP to shit, I think he was in Texas. It's a young man, a young black man, just lost his fucking life.
Your mother does not define the fucking. I'm sorry about your homie, but your
Not
mother's unwillingness to want to compromise, or your father's unwillingness to compromise economically, does not define fucking labor laws.
I'm
And
not.
it doesn't define
This
everyone.
discussion is
It
not
doesn't.
about it.
I think you're
It's
making
about
it
having
okay. You're making
pride
it
for
about
yourself
yourself.
and not settling and
Yeah,
not
not
begging,
settle.
not,
But when everything
not
pays
making
below
excuses,
the living
not being
wage, when everything
entitled.
pays below the living wage,
Entitled.
then
Hold on. And it's not. It's about not being entitled to want to fucking be mediocre and settle. It's about having pride about yourself. Pride is an emotional thing. No, it's not logical.
pride. Hey, sometimes pride does not pay the fuck. If you got rent and you got babies in your house and you got kids going to college and all that shit, pride does not pay that.
Ale. There's people
But
out there that would make much more money prostituting themselves than flipping a burger. But
not
why
everybody
don't
has
they
those,
do that
bro.
shit?
Only because you would have sex on video doesn't mean that everyone would.
I said prostituting. I didn't say any specific. There, there's a lot of people that could make thousands of dollars a day prostituting themselves, stripping.
Yeah, so can I, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna go out and do
That's
it. That's
because
being
these people
ridiculous.
have pride about themselves, so it's applicable to this situation.
No, people have moral codes. People have religious views.
That's a part of
People don't
that.
want fucking somebody's dirty energy all up on them because it's more than just pride. It's more than pride,
because
dude.
because
In
my
this case, it's spirituality.
okay, my child, my first child was in danger because I wasn't making enough fucking money. Because I chose to be myself because I love myself. Because I was just stepping into myself. Because my fucking manager was racist as fuck. And I had to bury my fucking pride and ask this racist
It's
ass, ignorant
close.
ass bitch for more hours. And do you know how the fuck that made me feel about myself? When I had to wake up in the morning and I looked in the goddamn mirror and I knew I had to ask somebody that was racist, that did not like me, that rather me had not worked there, that cut my hours from 40 hours to fucking 22 hours, but she would still send me home like 2 hours early. I had to ask her motherfucking ass for more hours. I had to say, I'm not gonna say
So
her
she
name.
was
That bitch
using
knows who
you.
she is. No,
She was using you.
she was
And the
cutting my
law,
hours. She was cutting my hours because she wanted me to quit because she didn't like me. But I
and the
still had to
law
bury
was
my pride.
supporting that. The law was
I
supporting
had to.
it. So that's why you have to
What's up,
change
BJ?
the law.
That's the big homie, man. We got millionaires in this bitch. What up, Jay? What up, Tina? But that's the big homie. I had to bury my pride, and I had to beg this bitch for more hours, and I had to tell her, bro, I'm on my dick. I'm not my son, bro. My son. I need more hours. I'm sorry for what I did, and that shit made me feel really little. And I just knew, bro, I can't feel this ever again. I can't beg a motherfucker for more money. Now, am I blaming her for being racist? Am I blaming Burger King for not paying me for what the fuck I'm worth? The average employee, the average
What
employee
state was that
generates.
in?
All
Did you say it
right.
was Oklahoma?
Yes, I was in Oklahoma.
How much is
The
what
average,
the minimum wage over there?
I don't
Or how much
remember.
is it
I was
now?
making $9, but the average employee, guys, for everybody who has a goddamn job, your labor is worth on average, 8 times more than what you're working.
I
So
think the minimum wage in California here
it's $15.
during the time, yeah, no, the time that it was $8, I would say early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
honestly, that wasn't enough then, and it definitely wouldn't be enough now. And 15 is not enough. That's why
The
people are
average
pushing it for
person should be
more.
making if if the everybody if you live in California, well, at least in a major city in California, if you're making less than 6 figures, that's not enough. If you're making less than if you're single and you're making less than 75 bands, if you have a child and you're making less than 6 figures, but that's the whole point. Did I blame Burger King for not paying me? No, I blame myself because I fucked my own life up. And I didn't want to beg this bitch for more money.
Did you quit Burger King?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I don't really want to get all up in your business like that on here, but I don't think it was, I think if it was just you, it would have been a really difficult struggle because what my point is that it takes like a collective to fight for the rights of the collective. Because one person is cool to start a fire, but there needs to be more so the fire will burn. You know what I mean? So it actually creates like you could start a spark, but it all actually creates like a giant fire that will change the shit. That's why people use the metaphor of burning the shit down with fire to rebuild it. But you think that, I don't know, what I'm gathering is that you think that companies shouldn't have to cater to fucking people. If they didn't cater, we would still have slavery, dude. Like,
That's not the
seriously.
same thing, and you shouldn't
Yeah,
be
dude.
speaking about slavery because
Crop sharing and the
you
labor
don't
force
have
came out of
you don't have
slavery. If people
you
wouldn't
don't
have
even you
fought,
have probably
we would
5%
still
of the
have children working in factories. And they would
no.
lock the
Do
doors
you know how
and they
child
would
labor laws
fucking
came to be
and
about?
their shit caught fire and the shit would be really unsafe. We wouldn't even have OSHA if like for like safety precautions if we didn't have fucking
That's not
people fighting
true
for
out here.
people's rights.
That's those things.
Yeah, dude.
How did
That
child
shit goes
labor
hand in
laws?
hand.
No. How did child labor laws come to be? How did
Okay,
you?
so there was this building in New York, and there
Mhm.
was another one in
Fire and
France
people
where,
died, right?
yes, exactly.
But it's not the same thing as fucking slavery, and it's not the same thing as
No,
telling
but
somebody
do you think that that was not like slave wage, those children? You know how dirty it was over there? People are living in fucked up situations, and there's been a step by step struggle throughout time for things to get better. And that's why it's important for people to like fight for their rights. You know what I mean? It's like
it's your right to
it
be
feels,
educated.
it felt alone, right? I've been in there where I'm like, damn, I'm
Can
getting
you
shit
repeat
at
what you
this
just said? I
job,
can hear what
and
you
it
said.
feels lonely. because if there's nobody else. But if there's a collective and there's organization, dude, and it's not easy. It's not easy. I remember at one point I was gonna join like well, I used to be a weed trimmer. We were talking about doing the like making a union, and this was before it was legal. But I didn't join. I was really busy raising a child and shit. But you know, honestly, I should have. I didn't even work there after a while. That would have been helpful before it became legal here in California. Knowing that it's fucking still illegal in so many places around the world,
What's the?
specifically what's happening in Russia, dude.
That's
I'm sorry, I just had to bring that in there. Okay.
at the end of the day. You keep. I think you keep straying from my point. My point is, people should have enough pride and and it's
They do. They do. They do.
no they don't.
But yeah,
No
they
they don't.
do. But then they also don't have options.
I didn't
And
get
it's
my
like
pride
you
from my father, Jose. I got my pride from my mother. You know what my fucking father taught me, bro? He taught me, well, sometimes you gotta just take shit until you come up. Sometimes you just gotta stay down till you come up. Sometimes you gotta let a white motherfucker talk to you all any old kind of way. He told me some weird ass story when he worked at fucking 7-Eleven, and he was like, the whole point of me learning the story was to control myself emotionally at this point. I went through some bullshit when I was in like 8th grade, right? But at the end of the day, he was like, sometimes, you know, when that white man said that shit to me, I knew I could have physically dominated him. I knew I could have beat that nigga's ass. But I knew that, you know, I had a child on the way and ooh out the bam, and I just needed the job. And, you know, it builds character. And sometimes you just gotta,
now you
sometimes
talk
you
to
just
like
gotta bully a mother. No, bro, that's not how my dad talks, bro. Sometimes you just gotta take shit so you could beat the shit. Sometimes you gotta fucking stay down so you could come up. And I believe in that to a certain extent. But where is manhood? Where is pride? Where is womanhood? Where is to the point
fucking
where
having
it's like, nigga,
food
I'm not about to
on the
when
table and a roof over your head, man. That's how your ass ended up not homeless when you were little. I guess maybe not in your case, but in some people's cases, that's how they stay afloat, you know, for a while until they could get through. Especially how this country is founded on so much on slavery, but also on migrant like work, and people
yes,
have to do what they have to do to fucking take care of their families because otherwise their families would
you're
starve. And it's like,
contradicting yourself.
no, I'm not fucking
Yes, you
contradicting.
are.
How am I trying to how am I doing it?
You're
Tell me.
contradicting yourself because if they really did what they had to do, if it was really a you got to do what you got to do, then people would just shut the fuck up and just go to work. But no,
And they do.
people
And they
complain
do.
about
And they
being
complain
mediocre.
too. No, they do both. Shit, you gotta
You
sometimes choose
can
your
do that.
battles.
You can. So
Yeah, you
that's what
can.
people's
It's not
problem
black or
is. That's
white.
called
The
being
world is not black and
double-minded.
white. There's
What's
fucking
not black and
yellow.
white?
There's orange. The world is not black and white. There's not only
Yeah,
two homies, everybody else. There's
that's the
everything
problem.
else. There's no, there's a
You
whole lot of
can't be a
gray in different
motherfucking worker
shades.
and demand the same treatment as a
Yeah,
boss.
you can. Your fucking work is needed. You're used. I forget the term. I don't want
It's
to say you're a
called
commodity.
interdependent.
I don't want to say
Interdependent.
that you're a commodity, but you're definitely valuable. When you're a worker, you're definitely valuable and you deserve to fucking get fair treatment and you deserve to get fair wages. The cost of living, you think that the fucking corporations, that's what people be talking about. Those corporations or those fucking head guys that are really rich go to somewhere in the fucking, I don't know, it's somewhere in the East Coast. They meet up every year to talk about the economics and shit like that. But that happens
Yeah.
with everything. I forget what it's called, but it happens with everything with so many different legislatures and things like that. There has to be balance. So people fight for higher wages because otherwise, if people don't say nothing, they'll just keep giving you shit.
Would you encourage?
Mm.
Mm, so instead of just putting yourself in a position where you don't have to,
Am I being loud? I've been kicking it with somebody that's super loud lately. And I'm like, damn, this bitch is loud. And I'm like, am I being loud now? It's to lower my voice. Okay, what? What am I inclined to do? What? To think what?
Would you encourage somebody to educate themselves or take a risk if they don't like what's going on? You wouldn't say,
Definitely.
bro, why don't you just, why don't you put yourself in a position where you don't have to work for people who don't care about you? That's
So
my
I've
whole
been in
thing.
that position.
It's
So I've been in
about,
that
okay, hold on.
position.
It's about with me, with education and trades and learning, it's about having the power of choice. Your power of choice in a working for somebody is I'm either gonna complain, risk losing my job, or I'm going to tell somebody to pay me more when that's not what they want to do. How am I telling a motherfucker to pay me more when I don't know what the fuck they
Dude,
go through?
what's that
I don't know
old
their numbers.
saying? What's that old saying? Closed mouth don't get fed. Like you have to say something. Is when you like somebody, you have to say so. You want to say something because otherwise you ain't gonna get shit, homie. Like what? We're all just gonna walk around and be like, oh well, I should just quit. Like when you like somebody, you're like trying to galvanize a girl to fucking get to talk to you, to have a conversation. And you're like, let's say if she's just like not giving you no play, you're gonna just be like, well, I'm just gonna move on to the next. Nah, fool, if that's where you wanna be, or that's where you feel
Yes,
you
that's
need
what
to
the fuck.
be, if you
Perfect.
that's where you feel
Perfect.
that you need to be, then you need to say something.
If you just
And
want that motherfucker,
what do they call that? It sounds so corny. Shoot your shot and shit.
shooting your shot. That's how. We're not gonna go into that, but so let's say
Look at
Ale,
you, you're glowing now. You're like, ooh, girls, he.
because Ale, if let's say if how we met, let's say if I shot my shot at you, right? You're sexy.
Yeah.
You're sexy,
Well,
and
that's
if
funny. That's funny.
let's say you were like, what do you do for work? And I was like, you know what I'm saying? I work at a warehouse. Well, how much you work? I work like, I
If
make
I
like,
say that I work in a warehouse, or you work in
no,
a
I
warehouse,
say I work at a warehouse, right?
I think you did.
No. Oh, at the time,
I think you used to work in a warehouse. Yeah,
I
when we
did.
first
This is
like
the
started talking.
perfect example. This is the situation that's gonna change your mind, guaranteed. So if you were like, okay, you work at a warehouse, how much you make on that? I mean, I make like $13.50, but I'm going.
Ooh, baby.
You know, I'm intelligent. I'm a hard worker. You know, I'm funny. I'm smart. You can obviously see I'm sexy, and you're like, so what kind of opportunities do you have at work in this warehouse? Shit, this is just what I want to do because I like this job, right? And you were like, so
I
what do you
told you you need to do more though.
exactly, exactly because you're gonna see because I'm a go getter.
Because I'm
So
like, you're smart, dude. What the fuck?
baby, you gotta
Your
stop. You
back's
can't
gonna
distract me.
hurt in 5
Can't
years.
distract me from my point. You can't distract me from my point. The point is, listen to this. Listen how stupid
um,
this sounds. Listen how dumb this sounds. And you're like, 13.50. Well, I um I make more than you, and economically, I'll be able to help you out, and emotionally, it seems like you're dependent on me. It seems like you would be economically dependent on me. I have more experience than you. I'm obviously subjectively more beautiful.
obviously, I'm sexier.
So I mean, you know, that's subjective. But at the end of the day, if I called you every day and I'm like, well, Ale, you told me to call you every day at 6:30. You told me to make you laugh for 3 hours. You told me to tell you how pretty you are. You told me to be nice to you. You told me that you don't like drunk niggas, that I have to be sober.
Oops, I
And I
like
was
it.
like, all right.
Tell me more.
I was like, no, no, listen. This is about to come to an amazing close. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do that. Boom. So every day I'm asking you, so you know, what's up with that pussy? When we gonna fuck? And you're like, you don't make enough money for me to give you this pussy. And I'm like, damn, but I keep
Wait,
doing what you tell me to do. But you're like, bro, I told you from the beginning. If you want to fuck with me, if you want to be in a relationship with me, then you have to make at least, first of all, nigga, you got to make at least $20. You got to cut your hair. You got to have a car. You got to have an apartment. You have to stop talking like you're a teenager. You have to be this, this, and this. And I'm like, you know what? That's motherfucking. That's classism. You're being this, this, and this. You're discriminating against me. I think I deserve more than that because there's other people in different parts of the countries that could have the same opportunities as me. So all women that look like you, all sexy Mexicans with freckles, I'm gonna say you're the bad person because I'm not good enough to have sex with you and be in a relationship with you. Wouldn't that be ignorant? Doesn't that sound stupid to you?
wait. If you said what? If you said that,
If you said that I'm not good enough to be with you because if I don't make enough money, I'm not educated enough, my vocabulary is not extensive enough, my conversation is not good enough, but I'm like, well, no, I deserve love because I'm a human being, so I should make more money. So boycott all bad bitches with freckles that's Mexican. Wouldn't that be ignorant to you? Wouldn't that be fucked up? If I force you to fucking be in a
I wouldn't
relationship
boycott.
because
I
I
wouldn't
feel like it,
boycott women with freckles. But
I'm saying that's the
um,
same concept, Ale. If I said that all women like you should be with me, even though you feel like I'm not good enough for you, because I feel good enough for me to be with you, so we should just call you bad, and I should force all women to be with me and to consider me
that's really weird.
as no, that's the same exact thing. That's the same exact thing. If I said I know I'm not educated enough, I know you have a certain amount of standards. You want me to make $22 an hour, but I only make $13 an hour. But I go to the government and I go to my rest of my friends and I stand outside your house and I make you be in a relationship with me. That's the same thing. What if you say,
I don't know.
well, maybe
This is
nigga, you should
really
go to
weird.
college and make more money. I would love to be with you, but you should just go to college and get a car and improve your vocabulary so you could be with a bad bitch like me. That's what I'm saying. That's how I'm thinking as a business person, as a logical business person. We
Okay,
shouldn't.
okay.
Go ahead.
So let me ask you, do you think that you wouldn't, that still at this point, you're still not ready to be with a bitch like me?
We're talking about what we're talking about. We're not talking.
Hypothetically? Oh, okay, so you're not saying that.
I'm totally qualified. I'm talking about we shouldn't lower the standards of the American hiring system because people want to be mediocre. We shouldn't pay people more for being regular. We should encourage people to want to get educated and want to be entrepreneurs. And if you're not an entrepreneur, if you don't have it,
Who
that's
is we?
the people, the American society,
I think
the
that
free
there
world.
is a push on, let's just, for the lack of better word, say social media for people to make their own businesses. I think definitely that there's a big surge of people saying, hey, you can work for yourself. But in reality, they still want you to fucking, it's a lot of like Avon, the Avon fucking strategy, like
A
sell
lot of
for Amazon. Can you hear me?
yeah. It's go ahead, go ahead.
It's a lot of like sell for Amazon, sell for this.
It's like third
Here
party.
here
It's fake
all these people.
entrepreneurship.
Hold on, can I finish? All these people from China are working in a fucking sweatshop. Hey, don't you mind those children in the hills separated from their families in Shanghai or in I forgot the other city of China. Um, don't you mind that they don't see their children but twice a year? You work online and sell our products that we get. You could get it for real cheap, and you can be a capitalist too, and you can fucking utilize people. You know what I mean, and make a profit. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think what we need is definitely a surge of people that make their own shit, You know what I mean? I don't think we have enough skills. I definitely don't think we have enough skills. I personally have some skills. Like I've learned a lot of how to make shit on my own for a long time. I personally need to. I want to take some computer classes 'cause I'm really interested in technology, like coding and stuff. But besides that, like I think that there's definitely not enough skills. I don't think the educational system is fitting those goals either. And so in a sense it's like I still don't think fucking asking or fighting for higher wages is begging. Far from it. I think begging is some other shit and it's an insult for fucking people that got you to the point we're at now. Otherwise we still be getting $1 fucking an hour and or less, and the rent would still be as high, and we would all be practically homeless. And people still have to be on county and all types of shit, you know what I mean, to like survive, because the shit doesn't add up. The map, it don't make sense. It don't make sense for the majority, dude. It only makes sense for the fucking far few economically fucking driven people that fucking. Some of them come from hierarchy, and some of them got a really good business scheme going.
I gotta move this inside at some point, but we're gonna
I feel like
backtrack
candles.
a little bit. We're gonna
Mm.
backtrack a little bit.
Okay,
So
I'm gonna do my scarf.
when I made that statement saying that if you are the only people, and I'm
Hmm.
only saying this because I'm not the master quoter, but when people make, okay, I'm gonna ask you a question. How long,
You're breaking up a
how
little
long
bit.
should, how long should people, let me check my stuff. When people get a job that require
Mm-hmm.
no skills, how long do you think that people should not have any skills? How long do you think people should be at risk for being um, fucking homeless? How long do you think people should not have security? Because having a job that requires no skills is you're put in a very vulnerable situation.
Okay, okay. Can I say something? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hmm.
Go ahead. Finish your point. Okay, I was just gonna say,
Well,
you know how your daddy, you know how your daddy told you, you know how your daddy was like, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, and sometimes to survive. Well, some people never got that daddy talk. Do you know what I mean? Some people never got it, and so it's just like, oh, my mommy never told me, or whoever, my uncle, whoever, somebody didn't instruct the youth.
hmm,
And besides the fact that so many things have been jeopardized in the communities, you know, of color, that you have to take compassion with people in society,
I agree.
and you have and you know, and honestly make more programs and educational things for not only the children that are like putting in a lot of money, like I mean that are like what is that called when you're like when you're testing and your scores are high. Hi, Jerome.
What's up, Larry? What's up, Carlos? We lit.
Dude, I
What's it
want a
called?
photo shoot of my
Standardized
belly.
test.
I do.
Standardized test. Are you talking about?
Yeah, especially yeah, like only some kids will get the opportunities. Like I couldn't enroll my kid in one program because he wasn't doing bad enough. And turns out that program fucking elevates the hell out of those kids. And and
You asked me a question. I didn't get the chance to respond.
okay, I'm sorry, go ahead.
What if people aren't taught that sometimes you have to take shit to be the shit, and you gotta stay down to come up? Well, if you think like an independent thinker, if you're a leader, if you want any kind of freedom, if you want any kind of liberation, then life is gonna teach you that. So if you think you can go into let me think of another company. If you think you're gonna go into Amazon and just talk shit because you don't like the rules, then your ass is gonna get fired. And then you're gonna go to another company and they might pay you even less and it might be even harder. And then you might have to learn that again. And then when you go to an interview and they say, well, you only been working at McDonald's for fucking 3 months and you worked at Amazon, what the fuck? What the? And then you're gonna say, well, they said something to me and I didn't agree with it, and I put them in their motherfucking place. And the nigga's gonna be like, okay, you can't
Oh, you're breaking.
work for me.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Or you're gonna, at some point, you're gonna learn that. At some point, you're gonna learn that you just can't do what you want, and you have to conform.
They'll call you an antagonizer if you do that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not what you want, it's sometimes what your own judgment of justice is. If you're not willing, like you weren't willing to stay in that one job that you were at because they offered you like $1 more for more responsibility, and you're like, hell no, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just like it goes the same. Like people do not want to settle for less, you know what I mean? And they say something wanting a change, but I think it depends on which way you go about it. There's ways that in the corporate world they teach you that you have to like present yourself and kind of like earn your keep, but then also present yourself in a certain way, like, hey, like I'm friendly, blah blah blah. But after, like, let's say if it's a big factory or a big corporation, and there's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
employees and there's a lot of fucked up mistreatment, I think
Right.
it's valid to say that if people get like speak up, and then one person does the spark of the fire, you know what I mean, to get the shit going with everyone else, then why not? If they're willing to fight and put themselves on the line, dude, bus drivers go on strike. Who else goes on strike? What is those? I don't know what it's called, but it's like a union for people to clean buildings, for because they were
Hey,
getting paid
bless
like
you.
very
Thank you.
little.
Let me give a shout out to the homie. What's up, Ashley? May all the negative and bad vibes leave your side, and may you receive good energy and blessings on top of blessings. May you continue to live in abundance and light. Well, thank you. She was more than likely talking about you because I'm coming off like a motherfucking asshole monster.
No, you're not. I feel like I'm a little bit more like rough, but it's just like that. Thank you for both of us. You're not. You're not. Me and you have these conversations all the time where we debate things and we say different positions and we even play devil's advocate and just not on video.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And we're like, what about this? What about that? It's just like, um, I didn't take no sociology class. You know what I mean? But I I have experience have gone to protests a lot where people are like fighting for their rights and stuff like that. And I think it's a valid struggle. I think it's like it's an honorable struggle, to be honest with you, not a joke, or what was the word? I forgot the word. I think it's honorable for people to fucking fight for their rights. That's how shit gets them moving in society, for my lack of better words, you know what I mean?
I think it's, I think it is as well, but I think it's more physical and mental, and it's a band-aid as opposed to stitches. Like, for example, um, I'm gonna get a lot of heat from this because a lot of people on my Instagram are black, but Farrakhan, or I don't remember the nigga's name actually, to be one of them, fucking one of them niggas, he encouraged black people to not work for the white man, and he encouraged black
Yeah.
people to not be a part of the government, and that's why there's a lot of that's why our culture is how it is. When at that time, had we been more involved in politics and encouraged our children at that time to be police, that would have changed the direction of the liberties and the freedoms of this country
Okay, what
significantly.
time are we talking about? What, give me a decade?
The 60s.
You're saying that people were not involved enough in politics in the 60s?
The average person.
I think it took a whole fucking community of black people to fight for equality. I think some people were scared because, slavery was not far behind, dude. And segregation was not far behind. So it's like, and it
Slavery
was still
ended
prevalent.
in the 1880s.
Ended. There was a sharecropping, and there was still people being fooled. There was a lot of people that didn't know, dude. They couldn't read. They were still being fooled, dude. I'm just saying, it's like it sucks,
You're talking about 350 years later.
Okay, in the 60s. How long ago was the 60s? You're good at math.
The 60s was 60 years ago.
Okay, 60 years ago. I think that it took a lot of people to come
And
out
excuse me,
because there was fear.
I misspoke. Slavery ended in 1886, so that obviously was not 350 years ago. It was 150 years ago.
I wish I had appetizers right now.
So
Um,
your opinion is a lot more. It's literally 3 times more valid than what I'm
why you say
perceiving.
that? No, I just
I
like
said it's a lot more valid. So you were onto
valid.
something more than yes.
Okay, so yeah, I think black people fought for themselves, and I think other people fought for black people too, according to the history books. But I wasn't there; I don't know. But it seems like to me like white people fought for themselves, and they had to speak up, and that's what helped things progress. Even though there's still a lot of underhanded, you know, underhanded like racism and in and but I think black people are moving on up. Definitely. Economically, there's like way more millionaires now in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, where remember we were talking about that, reading an article about that, like how there's so many more self-made millionaires in Atlanta.
You know why?
Salud. Huh?
You know why?
It's because people believe in the industry and believe in themselves and are like forthright to get things moving forward, to be more innovative. And people
Because
don't want
the
to work
fucking
for other
minimum
people.
wage is $7.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is
Because the
part of
rent
it.
is
But
the same in
I
LA
don't think that is,
in some places, but they
I
make
don't
less
think,
than half.
I don't think that that's the only reason. I think there is a big surge. Technology has gave us the opportunity to not have to fucking work with people. You know, remember the app that we beat, that you be on specifically? How many bitches are on there shaking their ass trying to make $1? You know what I mean? It's like people are like, I don't even have to leave home. I don't have to have anybody touch me for me to fucking be liked and get some money, right? So
Hmm.
people are trying to make it however they can. Like that thing you said earlier is like, oh yeah, you could get more money by being a hoe. But it's like that's not everybody's fucking criteria or morale. So that's why
Yes, it
people
is,
are
Ale.
taking more. No,
Yes, it
it's
is.
not, Aaron.
Everybody in okay,
Dude, you're
the same
tripping.
structure that what's
You're
up?
not.
That's my cuz, man. That's what's up, Travis. Then everybody go follow cuz because it's more lucrative to work for somebody than to work for yourself. It's more lucrative to work for somebody else than to do something illegal out in the street, a blue collar crime or a white collar crime.
By the way, that
Right?
app is practically like we're like honing yourself for somebody else because I was reading an article about how the corporation or the whatever the company owners they make so much more money off the people that are like shaking their ass and doing all that shit on that
That's
app
what I was telling the
than the
people.
people. So in a sense, it's like okay, this is fun. It's gonna make me popular, but in another level, it's
So
like
I'm gonna
it's
go
not.
off what you're
Is it gonna
saying.
be
I'm gonna go
okay?
off
Go
what
ahead.
you're saying. The average corporation, like I was trying to enlighten the people,
Um,
the average corporation makes 8 times more than they pay you. So if you make if you make $8 an hour, that company is really profiting $64 an hour off you. If you make $10 an hour, that company is raking in $80 an hour. You could fight for an extra $2, $3, but that shit is it's still a spit in the face. So you might as well get your own fucking. You might as well get your education and not because they're laughing at you. They can afford to pay you. You think they can't afford to pay you? And they talk to people like hoes anyway. They talk to people like they're stupid. They talk to people like they're uneducated and like they don't fucking deserve this shit. As much as people think, okay, you can bully yourself, but I don't want to have to ask a motherfucker to pay me more. Especially when I know you don't give a fuck about me. Especially that I know that I'm not really making you any real money and I'm not a valuable part of this motherfucking situation. That you could give somebody during summer break or a temp and pay them fucking $2 less than me. Have some pride about yourself. Why would I ask somebody? Why would I put myself in that position? Why?